Guys, welcome back to another Roblox Studio tutorial. Today I'm just gonna go over two different ways to make a sprint feature in your game. If you want to add sprint, there is a third way, but I'm not too familiar with that. It would require a context action service or something like that, so you can have a mobile button. If say computer does shift to sprint, then what would mobile use to sprint? Well, you'd have context action service, but I'm not too familiar with that, so maybe that'll be a tutorial for another time when I look into that. But for now, we'll just start this video off by inserting a screen guy. We can name this screen guy sprint guy. That'll work. We can add a text button. You could add an image button if you had an image of some guy running or some symbol it's a sprint button, right, maybe a shoe with wings on it. I don't know what you want to do. Just something creative, maybe that'll catch the player's eye, make them enjoy the game a bit more. Theoretically, I don't know. So we'll add a text button in there. We'll just position it how we want. We can put it on the side, over here. I don't have to line it up correctly. And then we can make it just a random color. I know people waste a lot of time on this in tutorials, even though just I use this button. Alright, so under the button, we're going to add a local script, because this is only going to affect the player who's clicking the button. We don't want it to affect all players. If we wanted it to affect all players, we would do a server script under server script service. I suppose a server script under a text button might work, I don't know for sure, but I'd assume that would work. There are two ways we can get the character this way. Since we're going to be editing the speed, we need to access the humanoid. The two ways we can do this are local player equals game.players.local player, or script.parent.parent.parent.character, wait for child, humanoid. Obviously we still need to access the humanoid under this variable if we want to do that just in the variable and not down here in some function. Alright, we could add this on to the variable, and then we could just name this player for player humanoid. I don't know, we could leave it as player if you wanted to. Alright, those are two of the ways we could access it. I figure we already have this variable up here, so we're just gonna delete this for now. I'm sorry I went on that tangent, but I figure explaining it to people might help. Alright, so now that we have the humanoid, we have to add a function for when you click the button. So we're gonna do script.parent, and then when you do this and you click M, you will see different mouse things for clicking or something. You could do mouse moved something. I'm not sure why I would do mouse moved, but if you did something mouse button went up, I typically like to do that, because then it gives the player a chance to decide, oh, I don't want to click on this button actually, even though I started to, so I'm going to move my mouse off of it, and then I won't be sprinting after that, if you know what I mean. So this requires the player to actually lift their mouse up off of the button instead of just clicking right down on the button. I don't know if that makes sense. Then we're going to do connect function in the parentheses, and then two more parentheses, go over here and click enter. Now we have a function set up, and now we just have to set the speed in the humanoid. We're gonna go up here and just add in another variable, local. You can name this whatever you want. Variables don't have to be exactly what I name them. You can just do can walk or something like that. I don't know. So we can do can walk equals false, I guess. And then since can walk equals false, down here we do if not can walk, because when you click the button, you're gonna be able to sprint first, not just go back into a walking pattern. So then we'll do player hum.walk speed equals something I think 30 is a good one. If you're a slower game, maybe do 20. I'm not gonna do 30. And then we set can walk equal to true. This is the first part of our function. Now we need to set it if it's already true. So then we do else can walk equals false. And then we just take this, copy it, paste it down here, and then change this back to whatever your speed is. Default speed is 16, so I'm just gonna do 16. You can do the same thing with this for a jumping if you want a jump button. I'm not gonna make a jump button, but you can find the variable in the humanoid. It's just a jump height or jump power or something like that. You can mess around with that. Alright, so then if we test it, we should be able to sprint. Alright, I'm loading the game now. This is the normal walk speed. If we click it, boom, we walk faster. If we click it again, we walk slower again. That is the first part of what we can do here. Of course, if you want to change the text every time you click it, when you sprint, then you want to say walk, so we can do script.parent.text equals, and then make sure you quotations. That's how the script knows it's actually text you want to insert. So we do script.parent.text equals, then we can just do walk. Then we copy that and then paste it down here, change this to sprint. So there you go. Now when you click the button, it should change the text to walk, and then when you click again, change it to sprint, so it tells you what will happen if you click it again. Okay, I'm not gonna test it. We already know it will work, or at least I know it will work. We can move on to now making it shift to sprint. That's the other thing I was gonna talk about. So we'll go down here into starter character scripts. We'll just close this up to make it a little nicer. Add a local script to starter character script, and then delete print hello world. Of course, we need to access the characters humanoid again, so we're just gonna copy this, paste it here. We could have another one of those can walk variables. All right, so now that I have both variables in there, we're gonna need local user interface service, or I don't remember what it's called, but equals game get service, and it's like user input service. That's what it is. We have that. Now we're gonna make a function, user input service, input began, connect. Then we do function again, just like we did on this last one. I like to do functions this way. Of course, if you don't like doing functions this way, you could always do local function and then call it anytime else in your script. That could be pretty useful. I typically don't do that because I typically don't reuse the function over and over again, but sometimes I do, so I don't know. Up here, we need to get the key and the game processed. I think that's how you spell it. We're gonna start off this function with if key.keycode equals enum.keycode.left shift then, and now we're gonna set the sprint function just like we did here. So we can copy all of this actually. Just copy all of this and do this. But we're gonna delete this line because we don't have a text or a button variable to edit. And we're just going to delete this line too, because same reason. Otherwise, you'll get an error, because there's not actually a text property to the parent of the script. See, if you look in properties, there's no text property. I think that's pretty obvious, but just explain that to you. Alright, this should work. Sometimes I get errors with this, but I think I did this correctly. So we'll play. I'm running, then I'm not running. You click sprint here, you're running. You don't need a shift and a walk button. Like I said, you use context action service when using key codes that you can still have a mobile button, and then this isn't on the computer player screen when they already have a shift button. Yeah, that's all for the tutorial today. If you want to look into context action service or want me to look into it to do a tutorial on it, then like the video, maybe consider subscribing. I do content like this, and I also do Roblox gaming content. So yeah, that's it for this tutorial. I will see you on the next one.